Hi everyone, welcome to the Kevin Campbell Show with myself,
Lee Judges.
and we're going to go into the 5 things that I want Arsenal to address. I think they're really important. The first one is Callum Chambers. Number 2 is the best midfield, because I think that's a real problem position for us. Number 3 is AUBAMEYANG. I think he is proving to be such a talisman for us that we're going to have to address that. Number 4 is Bellerin and Tierney. Seeing them come back and seeing what they're doing, I think we need to discuss that. And number 5, Lee, which is going to be the hot topic for you, is Unai Emery. We're going to discuss his decision making, etc., etc. Let's talk about Callum Chambers, Lee. What do you make of Callum Chambers, the kind of season he's had so far?
Ticking all the boxes for me, playing really well. Again, last night, I thought got an early booking, but grew into the game. Can't do no more than what he's doing, Kev. And everybody keeps saying to me, oh, we're going to be a much better side when Bellerin comes back at right back. Well, where is Callum Chambers going to go in this team? Because, you know, there is this thing about working for the shirt. If you play well, you keep the shirt. Well, he's certainly doing that. And it's going to be really interesting over the next couple of games. Certainly not so much Thursday, because obviously like Bellerin will come back, the Europa League changing around, but certainly Bournemouth, and then certainly after the international break. You know, I think he can't do no more, proving people wrong, and I think it's great.
Lee, I think Callum Chambers has been treated pretty unfairly, to be honest with you. You know, he gets a clean sheet at Newcastle, playing centre half. Then he's dropped out the team. He goes to right back, and I thought he had a really good game coming on against Aston Villa.
Yeah,
You know, for Maitland-Niles got sent off down to 10 men. I thought he was a catalyst. He had an assist.
Forgot about that. Yeah, brilliant.
He had an assist, and he scored a goal to get us back into it. We end up winning that game, which obviously we're going to probably discuss as well. And we showed the spirit. Then he moved from Forest when Bellerin come on. When Tierney went off, Bellerin come on. He moved to left back, and he performed there. Showed a lot of spirit. He even said, Unai Emery said, I was telling Callum Chambers to not go forward, but he didn't listen to me. And he went forward and he produced the goods and got another assist. And then against Manchester United, early booking, which against James could be very, very difficult because he's pacey and he could, you know, easily commit another foul. But I thought he was excellent. I thought he tried his best to help Pepe as much as he could. Pepe didn't have the greatest game, obviously, but I thought Callum Chambers has performed as well as he can do, given the circumstances.
He's performed better than certain other players in that back line, and they've continued to get game after game. So it'd be very, very interesting to see what happens. But I'm so pleased for him, because I think he's come back, a little bit of confidence from the Fulham experience. He knows that he can do it in the Premier League now, and you know, I think we've got a good future for him there. I really do, and I believe that central defences is probably going to be the position that he's going to finish up in, and hopefully sooner rather than later, in my book.
I mean, we might even see him in a holding midfield role, because you know he's playing with a lot of verve and a lot of energy right now. He seems to have got over this, you know, confidence issue. So I think maybe there might be an opportunity to put him in the central midfield, that DM role that seems to bypass us, because Torreira doesn't look like he's playing there. So let's move on to point 2, our best midfield.
You've done very well to move us into that, Kev. That was very professional. Well done, like, you know. Oh, we'll be here all night doing about our best midfield.
We could.
Well, listen, our best midfield at the moment does not consist with Xhaka being a holding midfield player as the base of it.
Well, is Xhaka even in the best midfield?
Not in my opinion, he's not, at this moment in time. The reason that he's not playing well is because he's being played out of position, Kevin, in my opinion. He's not really a holding midfield player. Then you're asking Torreira to play a more advanced role, which is not his best position. You know, last season, Seri at Chelsea was given pelters for doing the same thing, and here we are with Emery doing exactly the same.
Yeah.
We're not playing the best players in our best positions, as we were talking about earlier. You know, Willock, what is it? I think
What's he have to do?
What's he have to do?
Yeah.
You know, because of of trying to. I think at the end of the day, if you want to play Torreira and Xhaka in the same team, you have to leave out Guendouzi. He can't do that. So he's trying to accommodate. You know what I mean? Like cater. You know what I mean? The word, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? That they're trying to do that to get them all in, and it's not clearly not working.
There's an imbalance there, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly, that's the word, imbalance.
There's an imbalance there. Do you know what I see, Lee? I see Xhaka. If Xhaka isn't a holding midfielder, what type of midfielder is he? Because I think we need to define some of these guys. We know Torreira is a defensive midfielder. Central defensive midfielder. He's like that pit bull in there, break things up, win the ball.
Play.
Great, fine, okay. Are we going to play one beside him or two in front of him? I think two in front of him, slightly in front of him. So is Xhaka one of those players? Because they're fetchers and carriers and feeders.
Yeah.
Is Xhaka a fetcher and carrier and a feeder? I don't think he is personally. I think he's a continuity player. He's a bit of a luxury player in my eyes. And I think if you played Guendouzi and Willock or Guendouzi and Ceballos, that gives us more options in my eyes. What do you think?
I'm with you on that. It gives us also what it gives us is legs.
Yes.
Up and down.
Power.
You know what I mean? Power going like across the park. I watched Xhaka yesterday. He doesn't get across the park quick enough to play that role. You know, I'm not having a go at him here. I'm just saying how it is.
And he didn't have a bad game.
He didn't,
but if we're going to take that step,
I do believe his best role is alongside, say, as a two. So you're playing like a two holding there and one in front. That's his best position.
Right.
But to do that, you've got to leave out one of those players, and that's what's not happening. And even in fact, probably even leaving out two because Willock's not getting into this side because of it. Like you know, and that is the problem. Until he addresses this, we're in trouble. The other thing is, you know, it's not defensive-minded midfield, but it is to a certain degree. They're still getting through onto our back four.
Too easy.
It's too easy.
Yeah, far too easy.
Far too easy with 3 or 4 defensive-minded players. You know, it was a very, very cautious setup
approach
yesterday.
Yeah.
And there they are, cutting. As soon as we go forward, they're breaking on us. Where was our holding midfield player when we had the corner?
We look vulnerable when we're attacking and the ball got turned over. You're right. They were going. We were on the back foot.
Yeah, turned over. That's exactly the right of it. When we get turned over in possession, we are so vulnerable. It is unreal.
Yeah.
And that is with Torreira and Xhaka, who are more defensive midfield players. Where were they?
I don't know, and I think that's something that Unai, and we're going to get onto Unai Emery's decision making and stuff a bit later. Who bails us out? We get into this AUBAMEYANG guy, who is, without him, Lee, I don't know where we'd be. I'll be honest with you. We miss Lacazette, but when Lacazette's not even there, the shining light seems to be Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Scores again, pulls us out the fire. I would love to see the club make sure we secure this guy right now, not mess around. Get him on a long-term contract because he's going to score goals no matter what. And I really think that if we don't get our act together, there could be a possibility he starts asking questions about is Arsenal the right club? What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's asking those questions now. I would be. You know, I didn't think he had one of his better games last night, if I'll be honest. I thought his hold-up play wasn't
crisp,
great. But when it mattered,
he comes up
trumps.
Yeah.
And he's done that time and time again for us. You know, when you turn around and say, where would we be? Well, we'd be halfway down the table looking for a new manager now if it wasn't for him. I'll be honest, because he has bailed us out
Time
and time again. You know, we didn't play that well yesterday on our attacking side, but again, he's always lively. He's looking dangerous, and I've got to say that I watched it this morning. It's a fantastic finish.
Yeah,
fantastic finish under pressure, and he is the main man for us at this moment in time. And you know, they're saying this is a new regime, everything's all changing and all that. We don't want him going into the final year of his contract and having all of this going on again. So we've got to nail him down, and I think one of the reasons we can nail him down, Kev, is by showing him a bit more ambition.
Yes.
I think, I've got to say that. But listen, for me, his goals, everything about him. I just love the way he's. I've got to make the point. Last week, pressure game. Pepe struggling. He gives. I've seen other teams fighting for penalties, fighting over the ball. He happy to give his teammate confidence.
It's the second time he's done it.
Second time he's done it. Team player, everything about the man I like.
It's class. He's a class act, and again, having to secure somebody like him, I think, gives the fan base hope, because we got to secure your best shooter, your best striker, and he's our best striker. I think the complement that he has with Lacazette, we need to leverage on that a lot more. When our Lacazette's fit, we need to use them as a pair more, because I think we're missing the trick here. I really do, because playing him out on the left, I think if we had two up top and let the others fall in where they want behind them, I think we'll cause teams a lot of problems.
Yeah, no, I think yesterday we missed Lacazette as well. His hold-up play, definitely But again, by doing that, Kev's going to put a lot of pressure on that midfield. So he's got to get that right. Going back to that midfield and AUBAMEYANG and Lacazette, it all has to gel into a proper mould. In Emery's defence, I think because he's not too sure about these defenders, he's trying to protect it. He's got to say to himself now, I think now, after what I've seen yesterday, the Spurs game as well, we're an attacking side. Let's let our attacking players go. You even said it today, we are going to concede goals.
Yeah, we're going to concede
We're going to have to get used to that.
We've got to outscore teams.
We've got to outscore teams.
We've got to outscore teams. So, even perfectly, that leads us on to seeing our flying fullbacks come back, and obviously Rob Holding come back, which was great to see Holding. But I think there's more of an onus on Bellerin and Tierney coming back against Nottingham Forest. What did you make of Tierney, and what did you make of Bellerin's performance against Forest?
I love Tierney's. It's absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? I really,
superb.
For a first game back from injury, showed all the signs that you want to see from a fullback. Getting forward, crosses, getting back. I loved his positional sense. Yeah. Got in when the ball was coming over the far post. Never stretching for it like sometimes you're wincing when it's Kolasinac.
Just out of position,
But he's in position. He's in the right stance to just pick it off at times. But when he does pick it, he then goes.
He drives, doesn't he?
He drives.
And
I think that we've missed that a little bit. Nothing against Kolasinac. I thought he played well yesterday, but he'd drive and then he'd cut back and bring it back, because he hasn't probably got the energy levels to go the extra 50 yards up the field. I think Tierney has.
What I was impressed with Tierney, I mean, I've watched quite a bit of Tierney, and when he gets into the final third, he picks people out, and his crossing is very good. If you can pick, I think that's what Bellerin's good at, because he was a winger.
Yeah.
To be able to pick people out in the box is an art, and if you've got two fullbacks who can do that, I think we're in for a pretty exciting time. If we could, but we need to incorporate them properly into our,
and I think
that,
the team. And as much as I've got my doubts about Emery at this moment in time, I think that's one thing that he's done really well. I think that he's not rushed them back. A lot of people, Kev, a lot of fans are saying, they was expecting Tierney to play yesterday. I think that's a good move. He's just come back from a long injury. Get him another game against the Asian week, and then maybe involved against Bournemouth. Certainly after that, he got the international break, more minutes in it. As we were saying, those two guys, if they'd have come up yesterday, they would have been sitting around a hotel for 24 hours. They've got some more training under their belt. So I think it's a great move from the manager to just get them coming through, looking at the bigger picture long term, you know, not rushing them back. Same with Holding. I think Holding's a little bit more advanced.
I think he'll play Thursday.
He'll play Thursday. And I think now the time is to bring Holding back as well into that fold, like, you know, after Thursday, definitely after the international break. I don't think the two central defenders are doing enough to say that we're nailed on for a position in this team.
Holding could challenge for sure. So it's going to lead us into the big topic, which is number 5. Lee, is Unai Emery. What are you making of Unai Emery? Obviously, it's after the Manchester United game now, and in the space of a week, having played Aston Villa, the last game, man sent off, team showed a lot of spirit to come back and win that game in the end. Fantastic. Fans were real part of that win and willed the team forward to win that game, which was great. And then to see us go to Old Trafford, which is a bit of a graveyard for us, let's be honest. And we get a point, but we're pretty disappointed, aren't we? What's your thoughts on Emery?
I'm disappointed, Kev, because let's go back to the Villa game. The first half of that, let's not get away from it, it was awful. Absolutely awful. Yeah. Handbrake on, no positivity from our forwards. Again, the midfield shape all wrong, but we went for it because we had to. We got the result. I thought on Tuesday night against Forest, it was fantastic. Yeah. You see the young players come in, there was an energy, there was a good vibe around the ground, so there was another positive attacking move. And then we come to Monday, and straight away the negativity comes into the team. From the fans, when they look at the team sheet, we was all there, you know, that they get negative. And we are too negative, Kevin. There's no two ways about it, like, you know. And I look at Emery now.
Do you reckon that comes from the manager, Lee?
Well, in team selection, yeah, I do.
No, but, you know, it's one thing selecting a team, but it's another thing when you put them out and you want them to be aggressive. Do you reckon that the negativity and the lack of verve and aggression comes from the manager?
I do, yeah. I think that he does. You know, he's telling them what to do all the time. You know, I think that he's a little bit more. What I feel with him is that with Arsene Wenger, we was too attack minded. I think now with Emery, we've gone too defensive.
Too much the other way.
Too much the other way. Too much caution in his game. You know, look at Spurs at home. Yeah. Too cautious in the starting lineup. When we went 2-0 down, released the shackles, and look how well we played. Yeah. And I feel that that's something that he's got to let the team go. And whether it's because he's cautious with the team at the back, but the one thing that worries me, and I've said it and I say it now, I don't see too much of an improvement. I look at Leicester, and I see from when Brendan Rodgers took over to now a massive improvement. I don't see that with Arsenal. I see not a lot of improvement. Certainly don't see it on play. Out of all the players of Arsenal, I think one player is starting to improve, and that's Guendouzi. The rest of them, I haven't seen a great deal of improvement.
Well, we could say Willock has improved because he's been in and around it a little bit, and Willock has improved. But that's probably his natural ability anyway. I just think with Unai Emery, when I look at him, I ask this question, and I'm going to ask you. Does Unai Emery have the ruthlessness to make tough decisions for the betterment of the team? Because I think that's really important for us moving forward.
Yeah.
And look,
it's a tough one.
What I'm going to say, Lee, is we do sit fourth in the table. Of course we sit fourth in the table, and it's great that we're fourth in the table, and we're not playing particularly well. But in order for us to maintain that and to improve and get better, there's going to have to be some tough and ruthless decisions. Do you reckon he's that manager to make those tough decisions in order to, you know, get us to where we need to go?
At the moment, I don't think that he is. I think that he's making, as I say, he's catering a little bit there. I will give him one bit of credit. Very, very brave to put in Sacco yesterday, and got rewarded.
He played well.
Yeah, he played really well. He got rewarded by that. So that he's not afraid to chuck young players in there. But I think where he and give the youngsters a go. But where I think that he is more afraid is the big name players. there's a lot of rumours going around that Torreira, for instance, has said that, you know, I don't want to play in that holding role.
Holding role or attacking role?
Well, he doesn't want to play. He wants to play further up the field. That's what he's been told. Well, and he seems to be playing that. Well,
you brought you in to be the holder.
That, see you later. You know, the Xhaka decision is, I think, you know, when you go back to this 5 captains thing and all that, like, you know,
it's a joke. Isn't it?
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Make a decision who your captain, which, by the way, is a difficult decision.
Yeah.
Because I think if you've got 10 fans on here now and say who should be your captain, that 6 or 7 would give you different answers.
True.
So it's a
True.
difficult. That's a difficult decision.
It's a different decision anyway.
And what's he do? He passes the buck
to the team.
To the team. So there's evidence that he's not making those tough decisions. You know, you look at the Xhaka decision. Should he be playing? I think that, I'm not slagging off Granit Xhaka, I don't think his form at the moment deserves him to be nailed on #1 player, first name on the team sheet.
Yeah.
But he's not making that decision, and I think it's affecting us as a team. And I've got to ask the question: is he an inspirational manager? Is he going to make you want to run through walls for him and things like that? That's difficult.
Do you know? Funny thing, Lee. There was times last season, especially early on last season, and when we went on the 22 game unbeaten run last season, where he made mistakes to start with in selection, and then he changed things around, and he turned the result got turned around.
Brilliant.
Which was great. But what I see now is, and it's only 9 games, so I'm only talking about the chunks 9 game size of this season. He hasn't learned, and I think that's where you're getting at. I don't think he's learned from this first season how not to do it. He's doing it his way, but still you have to know, I'm looking at this team and I've got to turn the tables on them as opposed to us be passive. We need to be aggressive. We're Arsenal.
Yeah.
We need to be aggressive. So I don't think he's learnt from last season.
No.
What's your
take? I think that's a great point. And, you know, listen, even yesterday, when we got the goal, when we got the equaliser, for 10 minutes in them, how good was we? Yeah. I thought we was brilliant, you know, but we're not doing that enough.
True.
We're not doing that enough.
Consistently.
You know what I mean? Consistently. The first half going out there and being, you know, as you say, very, very defensive minded, you know, and then, all right, you know, it's a good tactic because we actually said, we go 0-0 at half time and then we go on second half, but we didn't even, we're not going 0-0 because we're going down.
Yeah.
I will say, made some very, very bold decisions in the Aston Villa game on the substitutions, and they worked. Yeah. You know, again yesterday, I felt these substitutions.
But he took Granit Xhaka off.
Yeah, he took Granit Xhaka off, and
which was a surprise.
Yeah, but it was the right decision.
Look, I didn't like the reaction from the crowd. By the way, I've got to say that I didn't like that, and we've got a lot more class than that, Arsenal. So let's keep that out. But he made that tough decision to take Granit Xhaka off, and it paid dividends. And sometimes, as a manager, you think, hold on, I've stumbled on something here, because all of a sudden we had fluidity, we had we had energy, we had legs, we had ability to attack, and Villa couldn't handle us with 10 men. So you think to yourself, okay, maybe me stumbling on that system, why not push it into the Manchester United game? But he didn't do that. That would have been a bold decision.
A very bold decision. And out of those 2 substitutions, he took off Xhaka and he took off Ceballos. And Ceballos was left out for this game, but Xhaka wasn't. Yeah. You know, and I felt that Ceballos coming on yesterday give us a bit of an impetus. It certainly did. But then the next 2 substitutions didn't. Yeah. I felt that they was a little bit, again, if you want to be a little bit cautious, like for like. Could he have done something to just, you know, mix it up a little bit better? I don't know, and maybe, like, you know, taking a Xhaka off and putting Willock on in those last 20 minutes. I know you're away from home. Sometimes you think we'll take the point, you know.
But he took Torreira off, didn't he? He took Torreira off and brought Willock on. But I understand what you're saying. So as opposed to leaving Xhaka on, you do what you done against Villa. Yeah. You keep your dog on. Yeah. Who's going to rat? And then now you've got someone who's going to run in behind and be energetic.
Yeah, and I felt that, again, he just, difficult decision, he sort of restrained from doing it and kept himself you know, listen. People are going to be disappointed about yesterday, and we are because you know you look at it. This is not the Manchester United team of old. This is a Man United team that's vulnerable. You go there. We spoke to a lot of Man United fans yesterday, and they're not happy. They know this is the worst team they've had for a long while, and these are the games. Like I said before, when Arsenal have been vulnerable, right, in the past, we've had a few things going, and Man United have come.
They beat us.
They've come and beat us.
They beat us.
Yeah,
Well.
Yeah. We don't return the favour.
No.
And that's what gives me the ump about it.
Yeah.
You know, we've not returned the favour. This is the worst Man United team since the one last season, the season before.
Yeah.
And, you know...
We still ain't won.
And we still haven't won.
Yeah.
You know, and people will defend that by saying, well, hold on a minute, Chelsea have come here and lost, and Leicester have come here and lost.
No, I'm not interested in that.
We're not interested
We're
in that.
the Arsenal. We're not interested in that. We should be going there with the mindset, we've got them and we're going to win this game. That should be the mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
With Arsenal, not any of the clubs, these clubs you mentioned, not interested.
No.
Because they ain't us. Do we have the talent? Yes, we do.
Exactly.
Do we have the application? No, we don't. So, going back to Mr. Emery for you, are you willing to give him a little bit more time, or are you want it changed as quickly as possible, Lee? Because I know we're only 9 games in, but can you take another 9 games of being like this?
Well, see, this is the problem. There's 2 sides of it. Part of me feels that it's time for him to, you know, we need to change it because I don't see us improving. But then on the other side of it, we are in 4th. We are where we expect to be at the end of the season. If he gets 4th, we get Champions League football. So we're in a very, very difficult position. We've got to go. If another 9 games go and we're in a position that we are, you know, it's very, very hard to say.
Well, if he's 4th in 9 games' time, you've got to be happy with that. I think, Lee, especially with the likes of Holding, Bellerin, and Tierney, those 3 I think are going to be the key. And you're right, him taking his time to incorporate them into the team is going to mean a lot.
I think a lot of fans have been saying, let's see what that happens and giving that time. And I feel that I'm being convinced that that's the right way to go.